This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Before we get started, Lawrence, hit him with that good ad read.
Throwing Fits, the only podcast that matters, is brought to you by Seasons, a members-only rental service for designer menswear. Right now, this week, debut, the Throwing Fits collection is now live on Seasons. You probably can get that on the homepage. I think my boy Arkells right now is writing up a blog as we speak. This is a fantastic new way where, listen, maybe you're a himbo like Jimbo and you're just looking for Johns that fuck. Maybe you're a Larry clone trying to do a paint-by-numbers fit with laser-like precision, or honestly, you're probably just a chill fellow Johns enthusiast looking for new pieces, trying to find inspo, and now you can do that via every single John that James and I have ever rented from Seasons in one handy dandy collection. I'm pretty psyched because now it's like you can even play the game. Is this a Larry John or a
Jimmy John
or Jimmy Johns? And the best part about the goddamn motherfucking boys, because we always have your back, is the fucking promo code. Use Throwing Fits at checkout for 25% off your first month. That's Throwing Fits, no space, all lowercase. James, how do I spell that shit?
THROWINGFITS.
Or subscribe at szns.co/throwingfits. That link should be in the show notes. So there you go. 25% off your first month.
You're welcome.
Be a better conscientious Johns enthusiast. Use Seasons for your next fit pick. You know, Jimmy and Larry are all over this fucking shit. We're in there like swimwear. Seasons, a better way to rent, bitch.
Throw Gang, we are joined by the Duchess of Deputization, Her Majesty of the MEL Gaze, the Dollar Shave Club Kaiser, Empress of Editorial, the Pharaoh Features Don Dada of that Dick Talk, Dominatrix of the Deadline, Queen of Copy. They say behind every men's media entity, there's an underpaid and overworked woman, Titan of the Top Edit. Media is not dead, it's just resting its eyes. Deputy Editor of MEL Magazine, Alana Levinson. Alana, how the hell are you?
I'm ready to marry you after that introduction.
Let's fucking go.
What
Tell your boiler suit enthusiast boyfriend he can fuck the fuck off back to Runyon Canyon.
Is that the way to a woman's heart? Is with like a huge hype man intro?
Yes, I don't even know where to start. Queen of the Copy.
The Duchess of Deputization would be the place to start.
I was personally proud of the MEL Gaze.
Yeah, the MEL Gaze was really good.
Can you answer a question for me and James real quick before we actually start asking questions? Does MEL stand for anything? Is it like an acronym? No.
It does not. Everyone, that's like one of the top Googles. People think so because it's all caps, but the all caps is just,
all caps when you spell the MEL's name.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some people have been like, is it like MEL, like male and like in a different language or something? And we're like, no, the real story, which I actually think is way better, is the CEO of Dollar Shave Club was once like, before he became, rich and famous, living on the couch of this woman named Mel, who like totally like fed him and just let him like kind of be unemployed.
Sugar mommy.
And no. Okay. It was a nice friendship.
A mother figure.
It was just a mother figure. She helped him out. And then when he started this, he was like, I'm going to name the magazine after her.
Hey, Mel, I'd name this magazine that talks about dicks and assholes about you.
As opposed to like paying you back like with real compensation for feeding and housing me. I'm just going to name this fucking blog
I thought it was maybe there was a chance it was named after like a Melvin, which is like a male or a wedgie from the front. Right?
Really? Like, that's what that's called?
Melvin.
A male frontal wedgie is called a Melvin?
That would actually be great. We should just start saying that.
Yeah. The rumor started here.
Alana, we're happy to have you. We are going to do a fit check. And I know you were kind of down. The first thing you did when you came into Zoom is you were downplaying, the entire fucking, the whole fit. And we wanted to pump the brakes. The question for you is, do you want to start top down or bottom up?
Bottom up, bitch.
Ooh, nailed it.
Not LAPD.
No. And honestly, the shoes are the most important part, always, to me.
Really?
So you always go, that's always how you dress, foundationally up?
Well, that's a good question. That's not always how I dress, but I do think that shoes are what take an outfit. This outfit I'm wearing is not great. You throw the shoes on, boom, I'm a star. You know?
Right.
So what are the shoes?
It's the foundational element.
Yes. Okay. So the shoes, first I want to say, I don't buy anything full price.
Is that because you get it for free?
No. First of all, when you have like celebs on here and you're like, what's the last time you bought, like Jonah, and you're like,
okay,
what's the last time you bought something full price?
Right.
And I was like,
Never.
He doesn't have to buy anything. But I am just like weirdly, I don't know if it's that I'm cheap or just like, you know, being raised half Italian, half Jewish. I just love the deal. The deal, it's like it's
the art of the deal.
If I really do believe that even if I was like a super wealthy person that could afford to get like Gucci loafers, I would be like, that's too expensive. I'm not spending $700.
I'm cheap with
you don't
everything
get rich
in my life but John's.
You don't get rich by spending $600 on Gucci loafers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but don't you also feel like you're sort of like giving it up to them, like you're letting them win? So anyways,
Gucci, if you're listening, bend me over. Whatever it takes. I don't care, dude. I want all the loafers.
Yes, I know. I love them. So I always wanted them, but I was like, no fucking way. So there are all these amazing outlets in LA. There's so many. I honestly forget the exact name of the one that I got these at, but there's one right by Palm Springs that has like every designer, and it's just outlets.
Sick.
Okay.
It has, and some are worse than others. Some don't actually have deals. And the Gucci one is really hit or miss. This was before COVID. There's usually like a tiny line, but they just sometimes have like Gucci loafers for like $250. These ones.
Those are great. Wow.
The Evil Knievel 2s.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I forget the name, but it's sort of like for the listeners, it's like in a blue metallic with silver stars on it.
Yeah, you literally look like Evil Knievel or like a Vegas era Elvis type. Those are fucking sick.
Exactly.
The swaggiest Capitol stormer on January 6th with those.
Yeah.
Yes. And how it works is it's like usually it's just like overstock from like 2 seasons ago. So I guess these were like some
insurrectionist swag, dude. That shit is fire.
Exactly.
So no matter how bummy you're coming, if you put on the Gucci sleds, the horse bits, you feel like $1 billion.
I think so.
That's great advice. I agree, man. I mean, like, yo, James, what's the thing that you always say? You want to have good things between you and the ground, shoes, bed.
Yeah,
what is it?
It's tires, shoes, and bedding.
There, it's like a good dadism, you know.
Yeah.
So
yes.
You want to spend money on things that separate you from, you and the earth.
Yeah, the earth.
Shoes,
I love that.
bedding, I guess car tires.
Yeah, and then you fire good Firestones. What kind of socks do you wear with Gucci loafs, or do you raw dog them?
Right now I'm doing the PEDs situation, but I do only because they're a tiny bit big. You know, when you're balling on a budget and you're getting things for $250, you might not always get the right size. But
those shits are stuffed with tissues as we speak, you know.
I think they're like half a size too big. But so I wear the little PEDs. Is
that a no-show?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's like a
wow, feet on cam for the audience at home. Feet on cam.
They were like sturdy. Wow. Oof.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll put that behind the paywall on Patreon, but we won't make it for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys do no-show socks? No.
No, they what? No,
I think there's a moment.
They do, but it's like I'm not. I don't prescribe to that notion.
Yeah, just
neither do I. And by the way, I usually would wear like a funky. I also got at that outlet like Missoni socks that were like
hell yes
stripes. Like
sick.
Basically just don't go with the shoes at all, but really go, you know.
Right, sure. Yeah, I mean, what goes with the Evil Knievel 2s? I mean, not much, you know.
Yeah, they sort of stand alone, if that makes sense.
And then what do you got on the on your hindquarters throughout?
So the other thing about me is that I also like only buy things vintage, but I don't mean like from a vintage store where it's curated. Like I literally go to the Goodwill. There's this place here called the Goodwill Outlet that's bins of trash.
Goodwill has an outlet?
Yo, Goodwill is what?
Okay.
It's like what is that, just a dumpster? Is that dumpster on fire out back? Like what the fuck?
You guys are coming to LA and we're fucking going to the bins.
Okay.
I have met so many cool vintage dealers and like fashion people. Basically if you're a vintage dealer, you go there because you buy clothes by the pound. Like I found a Nirvana.
Oh, I see what you mean. This is like the Rose Bowl flea. This is like
you're like elbowing.
No,
you're like elbowing out like low income families for like blankets and shit.
Yes,
right?
yes, that's
boxing them out like fucking Rodman.
Wait, were you about to dunk on me by saying Rose Bowl? Is that like a
Rose
civilian?
Bowl is like already curated and expensive.
Wow.
This is where you go. You wear
You're
like
the shit.
This is like dust. Like you might even before COVID, it's like you're getting some sort of airborne illness from
COVID-19.
going.
I don't want to hunt. I don't want to dig. I want to spend the money to get the fly shit. That's how I feel.
We're different.
We're built different. Yeah.
We're just built different.
Yeah, sure.
But for me, the hunt is half of it. It's the satisfaction of getting the thing and being like, I found this, and like
You're a big trophy hunter. You're like that woman that killed the giraffe and ripped its heart out to give to her husband for Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. I also think because now that I'm sober, I like don't do any drug. To me, that is like a drug. It's like seeing a bin and then finding like a vintage Nirvana Nevermind shirt from the 90s and buying it for 25 cents and like knowing, even though I'm never going to sell it, I could resell it.
Yeah.
Like that makes me feel like.
Do you have that? Sounded like a very specific thing that happened to you.
I got that at the bins.
Holy
shit. Chased that high ever since. That serotonin.
I have. I'm basically Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, but like for like trash.
I fucked up.
So what's
so sad? I went on this podcast.
So anyway, so this whole outfit is like from the bins. It's vintage Levi's, mom jeans that are just have natural holes all over them.
Great.
So
natural distressing.
Yes.
The way to do it.
And then a tie-dye shirt that's just like Hanes that someone tie-dyed that I just hold on.
Nice.
And,
classic spiral. Yeah.
Right. And so we do the little French tuck.
Oh, I love that. Welcome to the fucking dark side, dog.
Oh God. When a man has the French tuck, it's just
first of all, for the audience at home, I'm fully tucked. I am fully tucked and fully torqued. But yeah, tuck. French tuck is like a little kind of sprezzatura. Like, what did I tuck in? Did I not tuck in?
Whoopsie.
Yes.
The world may never know.
Daisy.
Yeah. Ooh, me. Yeah.
Yep.
And the hoodie?
And then the hoodie I just got this weekend at a thrift store in Kernville, California for $1 on sale. Just like a Notre Dame, the 90s.
College. That's Notre Dame. Yeah.
Notre Dame. How would I know how to say it?
What did you think? It's the cathedral? Well, the cathedral.
No, it's obviously not
the Fighting Hunchbacks. You know, it's a different. That's a
just show your support for Supreme Court Justice Amy Barrett.
Yeah,
exactly. I was gonna say this is probably really problematic, but I just was like, I love the look of like a '90s college sweatshirt.
Oh, for sure. That's collegiate. That's Ivy, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That would like hate me. So, yeah.
Unless we forget Alana.
Oh, spectacles too. We got spectacles.
Zenny. You know about Zenny?
No. Tell me more.
You guys, I'm just.
I know about Xenia. I know about Xenia. I don't know about
Lenny's. Lenny's sandwiches.
Zenny is this like website. So you know how people used to spend like hundreds. Oops, I went exaggerated of dollars on frames. You can just order.
Some people
frames.
spend thousands, by the way.
Well, sure, but also you can. There are all these websites now for $10.
There are websites now.
Yeah.
There are websites now that like for $10. Shout out Zenny. Shout out, send me some free $10
Yeah, that's
frames.
a good plug there. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. My wife has like Cutler and Gross. My wife has Cutler and Gross frames, but those are like super expensive, but she got them cheaper at another. I know what you're saying. I will get like maybe one expensive frame, but like because I wear glasses all the time, I want to switch up the look. And why do we need to spend hundreds? Like this was $10, so I could kind of try it out. So I have like 10 pairs of glasses. And they put the prescription in there for you. They just mail it to you. Yeah.
And what about the panties, Alana?
Yeah.
We're not asking because you're a woman.
Yeah, we ask.
Do you ask everyone?
We do.
Oh, in my Calvins.
Ooh, what do you do in your Calvins? You edit in your Calvins?
I do it all.
You do it all.
Yes, but I am the queen of copy in my Calvins.
Wow.
That's right. I'll copy and paste this entire intro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need that. Can I just like steal that and pretend that I wrote it?
We're veterans at giving away the IP, so like we're fucking. This isn't our first rodeo.
We're men of the people, if we are nothing else, and with that comes giving away your intellectual property to literally anybody who asks nicely. So,
do you guys feel? How come did your little kerfuffle didn't get as much press as the Caller Daddies?
No, because no one listens to our show, so it didn't matter.
Listened.
Yeah.
You were, of course, those ladies getting all the fucking attention. Am I right, boys?
God damn, dude. Fucking bullshit.
Yo, if I was wearing like a slutty top, maybe I would have gotten the headlines, you know?
Yeah. But I love how like people.
Maybe if
like,
I invented the Gluck 9000, someone would care about my podcast. You know? Anyway,
whatever. Shout out the Daddy Gang. Shout out.
Yeah. Please do not drag us. We don't have.
No,
we don't have an army big enough.
No, this is loving, man. I love
the Daddy Gang against the Throw Gang would be it was a massacre.
You guys would definitely like die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It would be like going up against Rihanna's Navy or something. You stand no chance.
The barbs, even like
we don't even have jobs, so you can't like cancel us. But like we would be fired from throwing fits. We'd have to symbolically fire ourselves. It would be so fucking nuclear.
I would commit seppuku. It'd be a whole mess.
Yeah. Anyway,
is that a complete fit check?
Yeah, that's a complete fit check.
I think it is.
Yeah,
you're not holding out on us, are you? Let's get into the meat and potatoes, Alana. The three main subjects of Throwing Fits, the only podcast that matters, are of course money,
ka-ching,
meats and cheeks,
sucking and fucking, sex and dating. You know,
most importantly,
all my favorite things, honestly.
Yeah. Well, hold on, I'm not done yet. Ourselves, your most favorite thing. We're gonna start with that. Right, because we're going to talk about ourselves for a few hours, then get into like money and sucking and fucking, and then maybe we can like shout out Mel or whatever.
One time,
so this is very serendipitous timing. In just a few days, you are launching the Melanie newsletter, and the inaugural issue has a feature on Throwing Fits and our fit picks. My question is, why do you want the newsletter to fail before it even begins?
Okay, wait, you guys also have to talk to you. I think you might be the second one.
Oh, God damn it! You know how fucking stupid we look now on our own podcast.
I get it. You had to get one issue out. You had to get one issue out. Yeah, you had to get one issue out before it all just fucking collapsed like a house of cards when you featured the goddamn motherfucking boys.
Well, it's more that we're running up quite tight against the wire here.
Sure.
Like the other one's already been written, so I thought I was going to put both of them in. But it's just too long now. I'm not sure. So sorry. Can we redo that intro and maybe, or do we not need to?
No, I think we keep all this in. This is great. I mean, here's the thing, Alana. We consider the way that we see ourselves, that level of importance is delusional.
Well,
and
I mean,
the more people that check us on that is the better. So we're in issue number 2. Okay, that's cool. I can deal with that.
To be honest, we wanted, like, I would love to put you in issue 1, but I don't know if we're gonna have time here.
We had some diva scheduling issues. We get it. It was our fault.
I mean, you only have me on here because someone that you liked better dropped out. Isn't that true?
No, we just had to swap the weeks. That's all.
We just swapped. You're not a full fill-in. You've been bumped up. I will say, you being like, I want to fit you in, but I don't know if I have the time. Anyone who asked to be on this podcast that we don't want to have, that's literally exactly what we say to them. So so I see what you're doing here.
We don't know how good it's going to be yet. We haven't.
It's going to be. What do you mean? Of course, it's going to be incredible. James and I don't do anything that doesn't bang.
We don't miss.
Yeah, we don't miss.
I don't know.
Them boys don't miss.
Yeah.
But why does the world need another newsletter? Like, it seems like every fucking day, it's like, personal news. I'm launching a newsletter. Like, pitch us on Melanie and why we should sign up.
First of all, as someone with a podcast, that is the richest.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm still wrapping my head around how many podcasts exist.
We have been doing this shit for 5 years, though. Head of the curve. We see the bozos biting. We get it. Although we were reminiscing about how early in Quar there was a shortage of toilet paper and at-home podcasting microphones.
Yeah, Yeti microphones. You couldn't get the Yeti.
Every
mics.
Fucking incel just wanted to launch their pod. In March 2020. It's horrible.
Every resident of Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why Melanie? Why another newsletter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's less about the form of it being a newsletter. That's just kind of the easiest way, I think, at this point, to pilot something as opposed to starting your own site or and it comes straight to people in their inbox. But I think it's more about the content, which is it's a newsletter for women, for the female readers of MEL Magazine, which is a men's magazine. Are you following?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Mel's a 50% female readership already, right?
Well, it's about 60-40, which I think is pretty unique for a men's magazine. Yeah, that is healthy. pretty healthy. Especially since it's aimed at men. Although as we've gotten bigger, it's become more of just a digital culture and a lifestyle magazine.
Right.
But it's still through a male lens, I would say.
Sure.
Anyway, back to Melanie. People have always been we need a Mel for women. Will you do? And they've been asking me, And so finally, after people have begged me day in, day out, thrown money at me.
Sure, right, of course.
That's what we're doing. And the angle is sort of, it's for women, but it's about men. So what's going on with the dudes? Are they okay? No, they're never okay. Early stories might be something on the house husbands of COVID, talking to guys who have become very domestic during this time period while their wives still work.
Right.
Obviously.
When they're not podcasting, obviously.
Yes, when they're not like podcasting and becoming incels in their closet, which is where you are.
Right. Yeah.
It's
an office. It's an office. Honestly, I got to change my situation because everyone's going to comment it.
This is an office?
Yeah, second bedroom that is now an office that also has all my shoes. That
you're like a Real Housewives woman who is like has a house in her room that's her closet.
Yes.
I mean, a room in her house. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you like drink White Claws in there as you get ready?
Absolutely, dude. I have like a fucking whole situation, full length mirrors.
Lawrence has the
pictures.
Instead of the Shaw Squad, Lawrence has the Schloss Squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Polish the brass bits on his fucking sleds on the Gucci's.
But I appreciate you noticing, like everyone does, when I use this as my background, which I really, again, need to address sooner rather than later.
Well, the thing I've always loved about sneakerhead guys having
That's not me. Don't. Wow.
Well, I see some of them are loafer.
Half of these are real shoes. Half of these are real shoes, grown-ass men shoes.
Okay. Men who are very into shoes, as they do see them as like art to be displayed.
Oh, no. It's just a storage situation.
No, look at that.
Shout out Brian Donnelly.
Yeah. It is better than a skateboard deck. I think a skateboard deck as art, I think, well, it's like...
Yeah, I would not do that.
Here, let's rank worst, biggest red flags of dudes that, think they have art. It's streetwear toys at the top.
Right. Sure.
Then I would say
what are those,
skateboard
claws and like fucking...
Yeah, the little claws figurines, bear bricks, and Funko Pops. They're basically... Well, no, they're basically streetwear Funko Pops is what they are.
Yeah.
They're not
then we have, in my opinion, it's skateboard deck as art.
Yeah, skateboards as art.
What about
even though they are
posters without frames? Like
posters, I don't even know if you're putting up posters, like that's what no pussy does to a motherfucker. Like that's truly
a cool. I fuck with the cool vintage poster, but it needs to be framed and it needs to feel like it's special and worth money. Not that you went to Spencer's Gifts.
And it can't be like John. It can't be John Starks dunking over Jordan. It has to be like, this Magritte exhibition from 1987 or whatever.
Yeah, right. Can we please stick with some Fellini and not like a bikini babe leaning over a Lamborghini Countach or something? Though honestly, the artistic merit of both those things are basically exactly the same.
I don't know. I can see guys in Brooklyn being like, this is ironic. This Carmen Electra poster is ironic.
Damn, I just have a flashback to a poster from college. Not that I had it, but it was like a girl in a bikini and like Daisy Dukes bending over and putting beer in the bottom of the fridge was like, this is why I keep beer on the bottom shelf.
Oh, wow, dude. Stardom young. Yeah.
Yep, just over the fucking beer pong table.
Would you rather have that or Frank Sinatra's mugshot? Like this is just,
or Boondock Saints movie poster.
The Godfather.
Right. Or Fight Club. Some bullshit. But hold on. This isn't a poster about podcasts. This isn't a podcast about posters. This is a podcast. Well, today about media. Is launching a newsletter just an easy way for you to like get back into writing?
Because you were nice with the pen for a few years, right? And then you went into you're now a deputy editor, so you're more behind the scenes, and it's more kind of like you're like the captain of the ship, right? You're like first mate.
Is this a way to work out that muscle, right?
Yeah. Sure, but not intentionally. I hate writing.
You and me both, sister.
Part of why I became an editor was just because I was like, I can't fucking do this all the time. Like, I mean, like a lot of being a writer, especially on the internet, it's not really about talent. It's about just being able to do it, like, and again and again and again, right? So yeah, sure. I'd say this is flexing my muscles, but sometimes I'm going to feature writing from other people. So it is kind of more like a little mini magazine, if that makes sense.
Why a newsletter? So kind of back to the original question, why a newsletter, not like a standalone site? Is it like a newsletter's low lift, cheaper? Again, they're just like shoveling more shit onto your plate. They're like, oh, you know what, Alana, she'll do it.
Well, I think all of the above, but I would say with a standalone site, there's an expectation that it needs to be updated constantly all the time.
True.
The thing that's cool about a newsletter is it's like as big or as small as you want it, and it's like hermetically sealed.
From a frequency standpoint, talking about like that over, like that's really what it's about. You don't want to be actually overworked. You want to joke about it.
Yes, I want to joke about it.
I guess is that the difference between a newsletter and a blog then? Like a blog people would expect to be updated daily?
Absolutely. A newsletter is like once a week.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also it's cohesive. Like ideally it tells a kind of story. There's different sections, and that way it is more like a magazine than it is a blog.
Right. Every newsletter is an issue in and of itself. Right?
Yeah. But I've definitely wanted, this is like an idea that I've wanted to do in any form. Like I've always thought that this, I've always wanted to make content for women and a newsletter about men or about gender. So newsletter works right now, I think.
I mean, we are clearly in the golden era of newsletter. If we haven't experienced, peak newsletter, it's certainly a phenomenon, not just newsletters, but like Patreon, even OnlyFans, this wave of independent content creators. Since you've been in the game for a minute now, and you're at Medium, which is kind of like the OG Substack in a way. Do you think that the current wave of independent content creators from a macro perspective, do you think this has legs, or is this just like a flash in the pan phenomenon and like the bubble's going to pop and we're going to, the big guys are going to win again?
That's a good question. I think
Thank you.
I would say both. So, remember blogs, like blogs were started by individuals. I'm thinking about Talking Points Memo, which was like my first big job out of school, started by Josh Marshall. It was just his blog. And then he turned it into a news organization.
Right.
So it's not actually new at all. This is just the new form. And newsletters are actually a really old form. I would say, though, there is a limit. Everyone is getting, not everyone, but there is a boom right now. And I'll be interested and surprised if people can maintain the amount of subscribers after 5 years,
5 years. So talk about 5. What about 5 months? When
I know. Well, no, people
vaccine
are like,
hits and I can go drinking instead of reading.
People are like, this writer made $100,000 last year. It's like, that was the first year.
Yeah.
So,
you're telling us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, our revenue has fallen off of a cliff, friend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to go down. It's subscription models. It's like, I understand it's different than a magazine, but remember how that worked for magazines. It's like there was a time when subscriptions were how they were being funded. And I mean, obviously with advertising, and then that slowly went down. So I guess what I'm saying is there is no time. Why does everyone, it's like, can anyone just do something without it being the future of media, or like this is going to fix it, or this is going to save it? It's like,
disrupt me, because the industry is always dying slowly.
It is, but like there
used to be a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel.
I think we'd be way better off though if we accepted if we were like, we make properties that are going to go away at some point, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't need to be the New Yorker. It doesn't need to be something that goes on forever. It can change into something else. Like, am I making Mel or Melanie so that it can be around for 100 years? Like, I just don't think that's how media works anymore.
Right.
As an editor who does a lot of your work is coordinating and assigning and working with freelancers, has it affected? Do freelancers now have more leverage, or maybe falsely or truly feel more empowered now that people are kind of voting with their dollars and being like, yo, I want to support this individual because I fuck with them. I don't necessarily want to support like a nameless, faceless brand.
I think that, again, we're talking about such a narrow type of journalism and writing that works in the newsletter. Like, there are so many things that writing for a publication gives you. And this isn't because I'm at a publication, like I'm not brainwashed. It's like, we have legal team.
Fact check.
I've yet to see a Substack that's like doing investigative work, because if you got something wrong and were sued, you would be like personally liable. I know that like Substack might be putting together some kind of legal team, but what I'm saying is there are protections in place, and having an editor, for example, someone that checks your work, someone that vouches for your work, all of these things are really necessary to make good news. So I struggle to see how like newsletters, unless they became, there were like little pods of 3 people that worked at a newsletter, and there was an editor, and they got enough funding for like legal consulting and all this stuff. I struggle to see how it could kind of work like to be a news news, but I think for lifestyle, it's great.
Yeah. Though I will say the current crop of independent content creators that you see now in 2021 versus like some of the examples that have been thrown out. It's like, I feel like the ambitions of the current independent content creator is to just kind of stay like small, doing their own thing. Like exactly. James and I do not want to launch a podcast network as an example, right? We would just rather do our own thing, do it as best as possible, and then find some other fun ways to kind of make some money, right?
I totally agree. Yeah. And that's kind of MEL too. Like now we have about 20 people, but the whole point was grow small. We don't want to become Vice. That's like,
right. Yeah.
Why would anyone want to have that happen to something they make? Like it gets global. Sure, you get rich, but it like destroy. It's like horrible. And
you don't want to do launch the Proud Girls.
Oh my God.
You don't want to sell your soul to Disney.
What if I was like the female Gavin?
Yo. I mean, dude, go crazy. You can say whatever you want on this podcast. We don't give a fuck.
What are your feelings on white supremacy?
Oh God. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, I think a lot of people just want to make cool work, and that's basically it. And realizing you can do that more easily when you're not a part of a gigantic machine, right?
Right.
Like you guys can just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
we do every day of our lives, every second. Yeah, it rocks.
So that's also what's cool, I think, about newsletters.
Alana, do you not want to denounce white supremacy?
Yeah, you should probably do that.
I wholeheartedly denounce it.
All right. So here in New York, right, in a very specific section of Manhattan, the current independent content creators du jour are these two women that have started a newspaper called The Drunken Canal that is wholly analog. The whole premise is that like it's a monthly, and that they're never going to put this shit online. There's a social media, there's social media accounts and shit, but it's like very specific to this current downtown scene around Dime Square. Just like the gossip and all that shit.
I've seen it.
It's intentionally anachronistic, right? I think that's part of the appeal and novelty.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
Well, I think, first of all, every time we're talking about these media ideas, like they've all been done before.
Yeah.
Like there's just
the Village Voice. The Village Voice,
like this is not right. Sure. I mean, I think it's great for that group or people. Like I'm sure that they enjoy it. Again, what are the goals of it? If the goals, which they should be, like, again, I think everyone is far too like global in their goals of what they want their publication to do. Like that works because it's for a super specific set of people.
Right.
That's it. Like you just need to, that's great,
And I think they know that, not to speak for them, but like, I think, cause they've gotten some press, and I think one of the women tweeted, a lot of people are like projecting on this, which is fine, but like we're two young women having fun. Like we never thought that it would be like a thing that anyone gave a shit about. And that pureness is what makes fucking great media, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
and I'm
honest,
sure
it's real.
They don't want it to be for everyone.
No, right. So, I mean, everyone wants an article in New York Mag, and people want to be like, talked about in a positive way, or even just to get people talking. But yeah, I think that, I guess it really comes down to like, what do you want to do? And it's like, I never even thought about it. Funny you should ask, right?
Well, also what works for your, we're at MEL, people are always asking us, like, we know that this works for this specific like audience that reads MEL and that we make content for. I don't think that it can just be plugged into any other type of group of person and work for them, right? Like Drunk Canal probably wouldn't work the same model in like Iowa or something. Every different place.
The Drunken Corn Cob.
The Drunken Corn Cob, like,
the Drunken Hog Farmer.
I don't know what cool, like China chalet parties it's being distributed out there, but
R.I.P.
It works for them. So cool.
Well, I guess that's a perfect segue into my next question. Again, there's a reason why I won a Pulitzer. Who is the MEL reader?
Who is you?
Me.
Horny Jimmy?
Our readers
I really do be reading. Are your readers horny?
Are you kidding? Have you looked at it?
Yeah, again, you're the Don Dada of that dick talk.
It's literally the horniest. It's like
I was gonna say MEL is the horniest. Yeah, there's nobody hornier.
Yeah.
I mean, MEL. Okay, so go back to the name of MEL. Like MEL, when I hear MEL, I kind of think, and this is all posy, like a bit. It has like some like 70s sleaze to it in like a sexy positive way.
Well, the person who founded it was at Playboy for a long time, so it has that background. Yeah, I think it's also like it's a embodiment of everyone who works there. And once you like start looking at that and like seeing our aesthetic, like we all are really, we're not like, I don't want to say we're all horny, but I want to say we're really amused by like,
you guys just want to have sex
online. Well, we just think it's funny.
You guys like the fuck.
We don't. I mean, part of the thing that's cool is like
Mel fucks. We get it.
Mel fucks, and like we can tweet whatever we want. That's another thing is like we love that. The second we became like a big news organization, I can't tweet about eating ass all day, and that's not fun for me.
Right.
I want to be able to make whatever.
And who can is Allison doing socials?
She is.
Shout out Allison
at Sadie Vivo. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, as deputy editor, I think that one of your responsibilities is to kind of like steer the voice, right? Like be like, oh, this is a Mel story. This isn't a Mel story. So in your head, there has to be a reader that you are, constantly.
Paint us a picture.
So who is that?
So it's a millennial man. They're pretty highly educated, but they're also younger than most men's magazines guys, which are way older, like Gen X.
Sure.
Like ours are like 28 through 30, that whole window.
30 what?
I don't know, 5.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Ooh,
just made it.
Wow, at the buzzer.
I don't know, 38. Look, I think they're very online. They're engaged. They love the internet. They fuck. They want to fuck. I don't know if they fuck.
Definitely want to fuck. I don't know if they can. Yeah, that's the great problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting that it's like definitely younger than most men's media publications, but it's not like a Gen Z kid.
And I will say this. I mean, maybe it is. It's not Gen Z.
Definitely. I mean, I think they read it with their sure, but that's not the primary.
Right. That's
Gen
not
Z
the
know how to read.
It's a very mature, like it's like the most mature Zoomer. Like people think I'm in college.
It's the millennial Gen Z cusp.
Okay.
Right. And then just
the taint between the Gen Z asshole and the millennial cock and balls.
Yeah, sure.
It does feel like, and maybe this is credit to Allison, right? It does feel like, Lawrence and I, we are members of the media fucking echo chamber, the feedback loop, where it feels like, you can't tell if something is the biggest thing in the world or if like only the, 30,000 people that fucking occupy this space are talking about it. But it does feel like once a month, Mel has that one article that kind of dominates the timeline for the day, right? Where like you're reading takes about it before you even read the fucking article.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are people talking about? I need to go read this thing. Do you think that Mel gets the recognition it deserves?
No.
No?
Talk your shit.
Oh God. Well, I don't want to say no because that makes me seem like I think it does in some ways. I think it has a lot of critical acclaim, but I also think people just they don't know like the long evolution of how it came to be. And back 5 years ago when it was started, the idea of making a men's magazine that was more feminist and didn't take itself seriously like this, like people thought we were insane. Like I was a feminist blogger and people told me I was ruining my career to go move to LA. I was like in the New York scene and people were like, what are you doing? Like going to a magazine owned by a cheap razor company to write about dicks. Like you're so, and at that time it was like, it's very, now a lot of men with Me Too, with all this stuff, men's media has changed. And I think in big credit to Mel, like we made it okay for there to be special packages about body image for men and like eating disorders and all of this stuff. And we did so much coverage on sexual harassment. That wasn't a thing. Just from having been there covering it, that was really being covered in men's media in the same way, like service around like how to not be creepy. So now that doesn't seem that when we were doing it, like my boss got an email from, guys that work in men's media and said, the feminist that works for you is out of control and you're letting her ruin your men's site.
Oh, damn. Tell them how you really feel, fellas.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Hope
he
you kept
won't
those
tell
receipts.
Me. He won't tell me.
He won't. I hope he doesn't tell you, because that is fucking. I mean, listen, dude. If that's how you feel, keep that to yourself. Do
Also,
not fucking call somebody and tell
But
them
he's
that.
telling other men that. Like, but the thing is, that is what men's.
What a
I'm sorry,
bozo.
but it like.
No,
and I
yeah.
think it's definitely changing. Like GQ, like everything is changing a little bit now. But like, it was a super conservative space. I mean, you guys were at Barstool, which is like another end, but like, men's media
Really
is
at Barstool, we were at Complex more than anything, which had to deal with its own fucking reckoning to some degree. But I mean, there was literally a shitty media men's list. Like there had to be a list because it was so shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
this was all around that time.
Yeah,
because I wrote. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I wrote a big piece about like what it was like to work in a men's magazine during Me Too and the shitty media men's list and all that stuff.
Right.
And that really, I think, was
in terms of Mel's standing in this editorial landscape. I mean, what you're kind of talking about, and you don't want to say that that you don't get the recognition you deserve because your colleagues do such amazing work, right? And you don't want to. But what you're talking about is kind of like the famous kind of Jay-Z thing. It's like would you rather be underpaid or overrated, right? And it's like, there's that. It's that balance that like how many we've just talked about Vice, right? There is literally like so many fucking examples of things, going the other way to the detriment of an entire legacy of a media corporation, right?
Yeah. And I think on the other hand, I mean, Mel's based in LA. I was in the New York media scene for a while. Like it's very purposefully not in New York and not like we try to not consume. It's so easy to get swept up in like who's talking about what article and is this getting the recognition? And if I had focused on that, I don't think the site would have existed because it was just sort of weird.
How do you measure the success of an article? Is it with like what are your KPIs?
Yeah. This is also one of the first places that I worked that doesn't have like strict traffic goals. It's really like for a long time, it was like, do we think it's editorially good? Like, does it ladder up to our values?
Does this slap?
Does this slap? Obviously traffic is important and it's, grown to like 3 million uniques a month. And that's not because we don't care about it, but our whole theory was like good content will find its audience. And it does, I think. It just takes a while. And we had a lot of leeway.
Going back to the fact that there is a Mel story that dominates the TL for a day. I mean, that's virality, right? So I guess like as the person that's assigning, and again, like, yes, do this story. No, don't do that story. What if you framed it like this? What if you talk to this person? What if you like tweet it like this? Mm-hmm. Do you have an innate sense or like secret recipe for like what will make an article go viral?
No, I mean, I'm not thinking about it that way. I think if you think about it that way, you end up with like horrible BuzzFeed lists.
Right.
It's never like, is this going to go viral? It's like, is this an interesting and unique, and does it say something that will surprise people or they don't already know? That's kind of how I'm thinking about it.
You're not trying to
like it needs to pique my own curiosity.
You're not trying to reverse engineer SEO or anything like that.
No. Definitely not. Like what's so funny is like even the dick section, which is like people are searching and getting info about dicks. That started because there was literally like no information about like male bodies. Like, for example, there's Men's Health, but that looked mainly at like how you look.
I don't think Men's Health touches on eating disorders.
No,
and
like maybe
they might enable them. Certainly.
Yeah, right.
But like, for example, like Jezebel, all these sites, think about how much they write about vaginas and like issues around like reproductive health for women. We were like, wow, like that doesn't exist for men. Yeah. It just doesn't. There's just not even among men a literacy about like how your body works. So
I need to know the ins and outs of getting a vasectomy. Like I need that is
exactly. So we started writing about dicks and like that's why we made a dick section. Like it wasn't for SEO or because
I can go right to the good shit.
Yeah.
Could Lawrence administer a vasectomy at home with like a DIY kit?
I would love to see him try.
Yeah, no, bro, that's not going to happen. So
get some ether, get some whippets, and get like a sharp.
Wait, how old are you? I mean, knife. You're already. You guys know that there's a
34.
male, fertility peak too. That's
No.
covered. Like you guys, your sperm gets worse as you get older.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, your dick gets worse with age. You never heard that one before.
So get going, Lawrence.
Yeah. No, I definitely our
Sperm
friend
game trash.
our friend Nick was on the pod and he got a vasectomy and he broke it down for us, and it sounds like I'm team no kids, just personally speaking.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So my wife has been like inquiring about it, and I think we talked about this on this old other pod. But yeah, I just don't have all the information. But I need that information presented to me in an easy, understandable, digestible way, because I'm a stupid guy.
Wait, so hold on. Now I just really want to know. You definitely don't want them?
No kids, not at all.
Yeah.
Because where do we put his shoes?
Exactly. I want to spend money on myself.
I know.
You know?
But the fit pics, you would just do that to them and fuck them up for life. You would just like get them little cool outfits and they'd be
and they outgrow that shit too. So it's like, also, by the way, like my dog has a lot of clothes, an embarrassing amount.
Oh,
it's all kind of already happening. So
yeah. Alana, so Lawrence mentioned that, we're a complex and kind of in the, I would say, golden age of like, clickbait, page views was like the metric du jour. Chart beat, just fucking, chasing that high, seeing that needle just like fucking throttle.
Activated my like PTSD.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We were in the shit right along with you. And we used to play this game at Complex. Lawrence used to participate before I put in a formal request to move him away from me, which was granted. So we would play this game where you would kind of try to come up with the most clickable headline, right? And it was always something like Kanye West cheats on Kim Kardashian with Kylie Jenner while wearing unreleased Supreme Nike. Justin Bieber is the one who leaked their sex tape. Is there a perfect Mel headline that would absolutely get the most clicks?
Oh my God. Well, Cooper Fleischman, who's our audience director, is amazing at headlines, and most of the genius you see is him. But oh my God, there have been so many. It'd probably be like the men who eat ass on
Thanksgiving
in front of
with their family.
Days, like on queering the gender binary.
Actually, something. Well, hold on. We need to write this down because we're going to make this the title of the podcast. So as viral as possible. So I'll go back and put it down. Well, okay. How about this? Right? Has there ever been something that's gone crazy viral that like surprised you in its popularity? Like it didn't have a crazy headline, or maybe you're like, I thought it would be maybe less interesting or more like deep cut, like something that really surprised you with how many people were like, I need to figure
this out.
Yes,
but it's not really that funny. I kind of oversaw this project where we talked to pro-choice men all over the country about like abortion and their experiences with it, in the sense of like, how could they have supported their partner better and what were their feelings about it? And that, to this day, is like always kind of, because when you Google that, like there's no guide other really than that for how to deal with that as men. And so that's a surprise.
Is the SEO good on that? Because if there's a lot of guys just being like, need abortion ASAP, and that pops up.
It must be.
Yeah.
I'm not deep. See, I try to stay like fully in the creative zone.
Right. Abortion wiki how. Were you surprised? Exactly. Were you surprised by what you got from these pro-choice guys across the country?
Yes, definitely.
What stuck out to you?
How much it impacted them, like
emotionally,
and that no one really wants to hear what men have to feel about abortion. It was very interesting to edit it because it's like, but their opinions weren't like, I wish she hadn't gotten it. It was more just like, I didn't know how to talk about how I felt, and like it changed our relationship, or I wasn't really there for her in the ways because I didn't know how to be, like that kind of stuff.
Heavy shit.
Yeah, it was really heavy.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I mean, to go from dicks to abortions to, let's talk about popularity, like just generally speaking, what is the most popular topic that Mel covers? Is it analingus?
Okay, so it's not that. Although I did edit an Ass Week. I don't know if you're aware.
Ass Week.
Ass Week is one of my favorites.
That's another good title. There's so many good titles for this episode.
I live every week like it's Ass Week.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I can't believe you haven't read it. I'm honestly upset. It's like I
can't read.
A whole week's worth of ass content. That's
Monday ass, Tuesday ass, Wednesday ass, Thursday ass, Friday ass.
Like we did an investigation where someone talked to like 200 straight men if they really eat ass now, or if it's more a meme. That was an amazing one.
What percentage of straight men that claim to eat ass actually eat ass?
A lot of them, here's the thing that's interesting.
They were
actually
ass cappers?
do eat it more, but they do it because they see all these memes and then they're like, I guess everyone's doing this now and I got to do it to be cool. Like my boys are doing it, I guess. Like
Eating ass for the fellas.
That is, honestly, all studies show that men really change behavior based on other men. Like they just want it. It's for the fellas.
I mean, bro, if your homie jumped off a bridge to go eat some ass, wouldn't you do the same thing?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone else is eating it.
Yeah, sure. Right. That's
so, okay. So
these guys are having it on Thanksgiving. I want to get in on the fun.
Then we did like interviewing porn stars known for their huge tits and how they feel about now, like it being an ass-centric era.
Wow.
How are their backs doing?
Yeah.
Well, they were like, honestly, tits really never go out of style. Like
that's true. That's
true.
They
were like, even though we're in this ass moment,
tits are like jeans.
Forever.
Tits are jeans, bro. They're timeless.
Yeah, dude. Tits are forever,
right.
bro. Come on.
That's exactly right. But okay, back to your question.
Yeah.
One of the most popular MEL stories of all time. This like haunts me. I like wake up in a cold sweat at night because I cannot get it out of the top 3. I've been trying. The headline is how to make your loads bigger.
Oh, yes.
It's just like men.
Hell yeah. That's
Google
literally
that.
Google. That
is SEO. And like, we cannot, it's like my dream when it gets knocked out.
What is if you could boil it down, if you don't want people to Google it and keep bumping it up the leaderboard.
No, first of all, it's like, I think it's like 4 years old. I have not read it in years. I refuse. I think it's just like hydrate.
Yeah. I heard
cheers to that.
I heard subscribing to our podcast on Patreon makes you
that's what does it.
Yeah. Like fucking, short.
But you have to, but here's the thing, but you have to be listening to Jimmy and Larry when you bust. So it's a trade-off.
Which happened to Dick Sucking Ron. Dick Sucking Ron once busted a nut while listening to the pod. But it was an accident.
On accident or on purpose?
It was an accident.
How did he get horny?
He was like listening. He was listening to the but his podcast player was there.
He was listening to the pod in the shower, and then his wife left for work, and he was just like chilling on the couch, started jerking off, and then like at climax was like, oh fuck, I left the pod on, and then like his attention went from like the porn to the pod as he like busted nut. Yeah.
Wow, that's real friendship, dude. Shout out Dick Sucking Ron.
Exactly.
Wow.
What's a topic that consistently bricks, even if like it is a pillar of the MEL editorial space, and you have to do it for whatever reasons, like, whether
integrity,
integrity or just like tradition, like what's something that just fucking does trash numbers?
Trash numbers.
How to make my load smaller.
I mean, I edit a lot of this stuff. Like, there are pieces that are grist for traffic, like a lot of the stuff about food or memes and internet culture, a lot of the like more serious like PBS topics like male suicide and stuff like that, but we still do it because it's important.
Right. Sure.
So yeah, I would say topics that like would just bum us all out. I'm surprised the abortion one did as well as it.
Reading about men's suicide, I'd rather fucking kill myself. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather abort myself.
Yeah.
Part of the problem.
Wait, hold on. So back to the loads thing, because that's hilarious. If that's the piece that you personally take umbrage with, what's like then the most controversial thing overall that you think you guys have published?
Oh God.
What have you called the most heat for?
Oh man.
Enough? A lot?
I'm trying to think about which one and from who. When I first got there, I wrote this piece called Cuckboy, which is like coining the term like a feminist fuckboy. And it's a piece of satire, but it went legitimately viral. And all the leftist men were mad at me because they're like, you're just mad we don't want to fuck you. And then the Nazis were also really mad. I'm like, this Jewish feminist woman doesn't even love these.
Unity.
Dude, you pissed off everybody.
I pissed everyone off.
Wow.
You are the Joe Biden of cucks.
Wow.
Everybody hates you.
He is such a cuck boy.
Something another thing that everyone can agree with.
Yeah.
How do I make my missile loads bigger?
Yeah. How do I make my drone strikes bigger?
Do you does MEL like controversy in this day and age like is means like a payday in a lot of ways, right? Like does MEL ever not intentionally invite controversy, but like you definitely are fucking familiar with it.
Dance around
it. No, that's actually only if you have an advertising model, really. Like remember, we don't have ads. So like an increase in traffic like that isn't going to get us more money. Like our Dollar Shave Club is like a client for us. And so no, not at all. Like it's
But you seem like the type that doesn't mind to dance with the devil a little bit, to court controversy, you know.
I think that's a good magazine. I mean, a good magazine is like on the cutting edge, but it's not necessarily like for payday. It's more just because I like that people never know really what to expect from Mel. Like sometimes
it's true.
It's always criticized. It's either too feminist or like sometimes we're accused of being like red pilled. Like you actually don't know, not red pill, but people will be like, you hate women. And we're like, yesterday you told us that we like
that I'm a bitch, that I'm a bitch boy cuck loser.
Yeah. Like one time someone was like, sometimes the only man who works at MEL Magazine is the lady editor. They're all pussies. And I was like, is this like, I don't even understand. Is this a compliment?
What are you doing here?
Has it ever,
like what are they doing?
Has it ever gone further than that? Like, have you ever like gotten fucking like death threats and shit from like Nazis or like leftist dirtbags?
Oh, I mean, over the course of my career, for sure. Like my biggest, mostly when I was still writing, that's another big reason I kind of stopped writing as much.
To not be murdered?
Yeah, I actually like couldn't handle it. Like there are a lot of journalists that love it or it just doesn't bother them as much when people are telling them they're ugly and like that they found their nudes in Reddit threads. And like for me, it would just like lead me to mental breakdown. I couldn't personally hack it. So, but like when I did, have you heard of man threading?
No.
Man threading, but tell me more.
Before I came to Mel at Gizmodo, I wrote a piece about like men. It's like man spreading, but it's with their tweets. So like men threading tweets. And that to this day is like death threat city. Everyone hated me for that one.
Damn.
Really? Just because you
another banger.
A Twitter format? Like,
I know.
Bro, it's just your tweets.
Trust me, I know.
And don't bang that hard.
But there are certain people that all they have, the only place where they can fucking talk with anyone and even have any type of dialogue is on Twitter. So you know,
but I also, here's the thing. I mean, some of the criticisms of that piece were definitely right. Like on the left, people were like, you're not really talking about like men of color who do threads about police brutality. Like I think that a lot of the criticisms of the piece were right. Like I wrote it in like 30 minutes for a blog.
Right.
But no, you're absolutely right. Like it's insane. Like how did that piece, which was like to this day one of like the most asinine pieces I've ever written, cause that kind of reaction? I don't know.
Did Mel in the 4 years of Trump's presidency, did Mel ever, talk about dancing with the devil? Did you ever like do like QAnon or conspiracy fucking wacko shit? And like, did you ever tangle with those folks?
Yeah, absolutely.
How crazy did it get?
I mean, it's just every time you write about any of these people, it's just like preparing.
Yeah.
Like to this day, one of the only cease and desists I've ever gotten is from Gavin McInnes. Like, Cowboys are like so litigious. So like, if you literally like, there are 5,000 articles saying they're like a white supremacy group, and if you say that, they will threaten to sue you. And it's like that's literally like out there that.
Yeah. You guys want
beta
this,
bitches.
To be clear. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, right?
But like when we did I did a package on like women of the manosphere, like groups of toxic women who like believe that women oppress men. Like there are female incels, for example. So
what are those called? Femcells. They're called
femcells. There's honey badgers. There's a bunch of different names for them. And
Shmoney badgers.
So what's their deal?
I mean, where do I start? I don't know.
How do we get these people to fuck each other? They don't want to fuck each other. No, it depends if it's voluntary or involuntary, right? But still, there's got to be some like they need a link.
No, the men. Are you kidding? The men would be like, I'm too good for them.
Sure. Probably. Right. Some fat neckbeard addicted to bang energy.
The whole point with these guys is they don't want like their equivalent. They believe that they deserve like Giselle.
Sure. Damn.
And the fact that Giselle doesn't want to sleep with them, it's not a reflection on them. It's because she should die, right?
Right. Because Giselle is a fucking bitch.
Yeah. So I mean, when we wrote about that group, like they made like 3 different podcasts about us. Like they'll make content like YouTube videos for 3 hours where they'll like talk about your magazine and how much, it's just emailing the bosses and that kind of
they're trying to get you fired and shit.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
So, doxing and shit. We haven't asked the obvious question, Alana, which is like, as deputy editor of MEL Magazine, like what do you do?
So people, sorry, I love this question. A lot of people who don't, they're like, what does deputy mean? Like, what are you, fucking sheriff? Like,
Assistant to the manager?
Yeah.
And it's
Hand in your gun and your badge.
Yeah, it's
You're
kind
through.
of this like old school magazine term that still exists, but basically what it means at MEL is like I'm the number 2 to the editor in chief. So working the beat, just like making sure that the site is running. It's changed because it is a like startup media enterprise, maybe not so much at this point, but like my job changes all the time. Sometimes I'm doing more like special packages, big stuff, launching things, editorial direction. Yeah. Like deciding what the story should be and the angles. I work with all of the freelancers basically, manage those relationships. Then I have 4 staff writers that I work with, like that are full time.
You're the adult in the room. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can ask them.
You're making sure that the inmates aren't running the asylum.
Yeah, although I think it's very much just a free for all.
Well, you said that.
Except
you
the
said
inmates are fucking fire with the pen, dude, and they get the clicks. So
yeah.
Gotta understand who's.
I also think of myself as an inmate.
Right.
It's Arkham Asylum all over again.
Like we always say, like in order to work ML, it's just like the most mentally ill people that like live and breathe like
Sick.
irony poisoning online. You know.
You mentioned in an interview you did that one of your duties does include hiring and firing people. Lawrence, I've never fired anyone. Lawrence, have you ever fired anyone?
Yes, unfortunately.
Damn,
Wait,
it sucks.
I said I fire people?
Yeah, on some Substack from 2019. So it sounds like you have experience firing people. Can you pretend to fire us? Because Lawrence and I have never been fired.
No, I don't. Let me correct that. I think I've like been in the room when the other person is doing the main.
Doing
You're the good cop and someone's the bad cop, is what you're saying?
Well, I'm the deputy, you know, baby.
Alana, fire us.
Oh, God, you cocks. This is just like porn. This is just like a fetish for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Tell me how I suck.
I had $1 for every time a man has asked me to fire him. I don't do this for free. You're going to have to pay me for that.
Wow.
Okay? All right.
Damn.
Okay.
You have to pay to get fired. That's respect, man. If you're good at something, never do it for free. The Joker said that.
There are a lot of aspiring writers in the 18 million listeners that we have weekly. And, you know, I think that right now they're always just like, yo, how do I write for XYZ? How do I start my own shit? If they want to write for you at MEL Magazine, what's the best way they can pitch you on a story?
Well, we do have.
What are some do's? And then also, what are some don'ts?
What are some don'ts? Well, we have an email, pitches@melindustries.com, that goes to all the editors.
That goes right to the trash can.
Yeah. No, actually, literally, you have more of a chance of people reading it, sending it there than to me directly because
You're busy.
people, you know, I'm just so busy.
Yeah. Got it.
But you can send a pitch there. And in terms of like do's, keep it short. I think very clearly show like how it's a MEL story. That's usually the thing that's missing from pitches. Like your pitch should be, let's say you want to send it to 5 places. Well, it should be slightly different for each one because each place has a different point of view.
Right.
Why is it a MEL story? How is yours? If there's been other coverage on it, how is your coverage different? Like there are a lot of sites that just kind of do like aggregation. We don't do that. So it needs to be different. And then why are you the person to tell this story?
Would you take a chance on someone that has little or no experience?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Would.
I've like done that all the time. Yeah. I don't care. I actually like don't really care if they have good writing skills and are easy to work with. Like honestly, sometimes people who have the most experience are harder to work with.
Right.
Yeah. Look at us.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a nightmare. So
what's your personal media diet? Like, what do you read besides MEL?
You stay informed.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. That's really that's the answer, right?
That's horrible. I mean, I love The Cut.
Okay.
You know, New York Magazine till I die.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed so much over the years. Like I used to be really into like the Hairpin, Jezebel, all that stuff.
Right.
I have to be honest, I'm reading so much for work now, like editing thousands and thousands of words, that I really just want to like watch horrible trash TV.
I lied to myself and said the same thing when I was editing too full time. It's like, I just want to come home and fucking not do any fucking more homework. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to chill.
Well, also, whenever I'm reading something, I can't just especially journalism. It's like, why did they make that choice? Or damn it, this is so much better. Like, why don't we have this on Pitt? I can't. It's like a scroll.
There's a competition in you.
There is.
Yeah. Do we listen to other podcasts?
Yeah.
No, there are no other podcasts.
Yeah, we're the only podcast that matters. So by definition, that means all their podcasts don't matter. So why would you listen to them?
Yeah.
I listen. James doesn't listen to any podcasts. I listen to a bunch. So it is kind of like we bring both perspectives.
Like, is there anything that's a direct competitor?
Like an interview show hosted by two cis white men?
Yeah.
Straight white
maybe
men?
New York Times, The Daily, in terms of listenership.
Joe Rogan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really just us and Joe Rogan and Joe Budden, the Joes. It's
us and the Joes.
Yeah, if we had a Joe
funny
on here, we'd be great. We'd be set. Yeah.
Alana, you are a journalist, through and through. All journalists are naturally super observant people, right? You are a flaneur. You can never turn off the big brainioli that you got in that dome piece. So I know that you're out there in LA. You've been there for 5 years, especially coming from New York, the coolest, best, most, highest energy city in the world, out to fucking trash LA. Sorry. I hope they're paying you a big bag to have to withstand that. What is the most because Lawrence and I, in our mind's eye, I do think that when we think of the stereotypical trash LA fit, what we have currently is a little out of date. We're talking scalloped hem butt wipe tees, fucking big brunch hats, skinny jeans with the Chelsea boots, a lot of fucking bad jewelry. Mm-hmm. What is the most stereotypical atrocious LA fit these days, in your opinion?
Yeah.
See, that's really interesting because LA is so big that's one very specific Venice look. Yeah. To me, I don't associate that with the LA look because I just don't see it as much living out here.
You've also been inside for a year, so
yes.
What area do you live in?
Yeah.
Silver Lake, Virgil Village.
What's your address?
For the Proud Boys listening.
69.
Okay, what's the stereotypical Silver Lake look, whether or not it's any more or less atrocious than
I would say this is what it's like. Oh, New York, you guys are just wearing what guys wear here. I don't understand. It's
no, they're wearing what we wear.
Where do you think you got the tie dye? I'm so annoyed.
To the untrained eye, it might appear that way, but that's not how it works. That's not trickle down driponomics. It starts in New York, makes its way out to the West Coast.
We're the right coast. You guys are the alt-right coast.
So you're saying that Silver Lake, the average guy, dresses like the average guy in Brooklyn?
I wholeheartedly disagree with that. When you guys discovered tie-dye a year ago, everyone here was just are you fucking kidding me?
It's called Sublime. Ever heard of it?
I remember in New York, they would make fun of me bad for having checkered Vans. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? And now it's
a classic.
No,
classic checkered Vans are a classic. The tie-dye thing for sure is something
that's LA vibes, West Coast shit.
But deadheads are they're global.
They're everywhere.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I still think I don't know. I think it's different based on gender.
Do you have LA Pride now? It seems like you're
I'm from California and I hate it.
Oh,
you hate New York?
I hate it. Mm-hmm.
Why do you hate New York?
I found all the stereotypes about LA that people are shallow, career hungry. That was New York to me. People.
It's called Welcome to Earth, sweetheart. It's everybody, right?
I don't know. New York people will fucking cut you.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
especially in media. What you're talking about is East Coast media, that fucking pocket of people, versus MEL Magazine out on fucking an island.
I love it out here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're removed.
Silver Lake, I do think that the stereotypical Silver Lake fit does have elements of, because also now Silver Lake is its own. Silver Lake is basically Williamsburg now, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not it's so fucking gentrified and
yeah. What do you mean Williamsburg? The fucking brimmed hat. That's a Williamsburg guy with the rings.
Exactly, yeah. But these are bros that are cosplaying as cool guy or whatever they see on Urban Outfitters.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there are elements of that Venice guy that we described. I do see elements of that in the Silver Lake guy for sure. But you think it really is so it's tie-dye still?
No, I think it's just hips, like Highland Park. Do you know that area?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Vans and like, I don't know, like nice jeans and maybe like a Hawaiian, like vintage shirt. It's just not,
no, there's a look for
tattoos,
sure. I mean, yeah.
Like
Hipster,
athletic socks.
The beauty of living in this day and age is that the same hipster can exist in every major metropolis.
There's no
absolutely. Yeah. Like
very little regionalism.
I think there's more of a difference in how the women dress, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
And what's that?
Yeah. Generally speaking.
Just like when you're living in New York and you're at least in the before times, you're like seeing women who are models and work in the industry all the time. Like I just remember being blown away and like so inspired and seeing like
Big
weird
fits.
shit, like people on the subway with like very bizarre, like, shoes. And then that becomes
you're talking about real personal style, by the way.
Real personal style. Yes. But it's also very expensive shit.
Yes.
Come to
so I like when I was living in New York, I had a lot more like weird money stuff. Like I really would like really lust after stuff that I saw women who were like waifs wearing. Like I really wanted to look like wear all black and like do that look. Does that make sense?
The row.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely think here, like it's totally different. The style, there aren't necessarily fits like that. Like, I don't know where you're going to be seen in that same way.
Yeah, sure. There's the red carpet. That's what exists. Like, it's like a different thing.
Yeah, and that's not good
the
style.
The streets being my runway.
Exactly. And I actually, even though I love that about New York, like, I'm sorry, but the way that people just walking around dress is like,
looks so fucking sick.
It's incredible. And it's like so inspiring when you're living there.
Can I ask you a loaded ass question, Alana?
Sure. I'm scared.
Your man's, how does he dress?
Oh my God.
Does he fly?
He's so fly.
Oh, sick. Okay. So you don't, so do you buy him clothes or you're like, it's a hands-off thing, right? That's the way to do it.
I always like was so into personal style and clothes and like would always date guys that did not give a fuck at all. Like,
that look like shit.
Yes, basically. You know, like they've just the same jeans for 5 months that smell like a dead person and like a t-shirt.
And they're boot cut probably.
Yes. Oh God. But I would always be like, why can't I ever just date? Like there are men who are into fashion. Like, wouldn't it be cool to just date someone that could like understand or talk about it with me? And then finally it took all this time. But he is a Jewish boy born and raised in Los Feliz, and his parents are like architect, like in a very like artsy.
There you go.
He has
swaggy profession.
Jufro, and like he also like does not care about like he'll wear any color. He'll wear flight suit. Like
are you dating Little Dicky?
Stop it. No.
See, fellas, if you dress well, you will fuck.
Also, fellas, just get a flight suit. Wherever you are, you're going to look like weird, also, like, but certain women are going to like it.
He definitely has like lesbian energy in the way he dresses. Like he'll wear like Birkenstocks and overalls with like no shirt under it and just show up with like a basket of oranges. And you're like, what's going on? But he looks, but he also, you know, I would make fun of him. He always had like the opening ceremony collabo.
Right. Okay. Sure. Right.
So he stays up on it. Yeah.
He stays up on it.
Reads the blogs.
But he's also very like hippie influenced in a way that like I haven't really seen many New York.
He sounds like he inspires your swag. Like he's inspiring to be around.
Yeah, well, when people like they were like, "How did you meet like the male version of you in terms of your style?" Like, it's a little much when we're walking around.
Oh,
together.
sure, you guys look like some type of out of central casting or whatever. Yeah.
Like both wearing Birkenstocks.
That's cool though.
It's not
a couple that stocks together, rocks together.
What's your Birk of choice?
Yeah.
You know, this is actually kind of upsetting. Birkenstocks really are uncomfortable on my feet. I know.
Really?
I know, it's so fucked, right?
Damn, bro.
Are you doing hard foot bed or soft?
No, I've been both. I've like literally for years.
Damn.
I think it's just the way my feet are, but I wear them anyway.
It's your fucked up feet. You know why? Because you're working with the Gucci's now. You're all mangled, dude. You're trying to get it to work.
No, I have forever been like I have horse hooves for feet. Like they're not attractive.
You might need like a triple wide or something. You know
well, the thing is. But I love how Birkenstocks are like my Manolo and that they fuck my feet up. But I'm so personally invested because I think they're the hottest thing in the world.
They're sex on a stick.
Beauty is pain.
Sex on a stick. Yeah. I mean, I love the all leather ones. Those were like the high end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Inside the black. I want the ones that are like just the mule, like slip.
Bostons. Yeah, the Bostons. Those are great. Yeah, we put a lot of our the 18 million kids that James referenced earlier before.
Like
we put like 17 million of them onto Bostons.
I got into Crocs.
Yeah, I love Crocs. Classic.
And then I have the ones with the strawberries.
Cute. Oh, those are great. Yeah. Sure. The artist series or whatever. Like, those shits are nice, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am basically just like rocking a farmer's market fit.
That's swag though. That's a good look.
Swag.
Yeah. Especially.
And I love to accessorize it, right? So like with like an insane like jewelry and shit. And
nice.
then I'm ready to go.
Rock and roll, dude.
Jewelry you found in the bins at the fucking
you literally ripped it off of a corpse, dude. You went to a fucking,
exonerated
rating.
Guys wish you could swag like me.
When the bins get rinsed, you're gonna be at the cemetery fucking digging up graves, bro. You're gonna be a grave robber.
Grave digger. Yeah. Well, Lana, look, Lawrence and I think that we eventually are going to come to Los Angeles, right? We are gonna party. We are gonna fucking walk around and flight with you and the boyf. I guess my question for you is, once you guys get vaxxed up at Dodger Stadium and shit, what is your first post-pandemic night gonna look like?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Have you thought about it?
I thought a lot about the trip. Like if
where we going?
Vacation immediately.
Where we going?
Yeah. What's the deal?
Who we going with?
Yeah.
Well,
what's the agenda?
His mom is from El Salvador. So I kind of want, here's the thing. We met in the pandemic, so we've never done anything together.
Okay.
So
you've never even been physically next to each other.
No. I don't even I've never even met the man.
You're being catfished.
You met him on the Honey Badger subreddit.
Oh my God.
You're being catfished by a Proud Boy. It's a plot. It's a long con. I'm kidding. That would be terrible.
He was making fun of me last night because of my lack of Virgil Abloh knowledge. And he was like, good luck on the podcast tomorrow. And I was like, damn.
That's harsh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's fucking psychologically messy.
Wait, is he a listener, or are we not like cool enough and weird enough?
No. He just wasn't aware. Now he is.
Oh well, him not being aware is a fucking problem, but because he already knows who Virgil is. But I guess
all right. So
that's economies of scale.
Like, it's just because he's more in like the weird art world than the fashion world. It's
sure,
not.
Of course, he reads the Drunken Canal. Sure,
yes, he would. God, if
he flies over to pick up an issue. All right, so you guys get vaxxed up. Okay. You meet each other for the first time.
You go to El Salvador.
You're going to El Salvador.
Go to El Salvador.
Just the two of you? Are you gonna? Is it to meet his family?
Yes.
Are you bringing Are you bringing all the homies and getting a fucking like summer house, like our favorite show on Bravo?
That would be really fantastic. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm trying. I can't allow myself. I'm still not convinced.
Really?
Have you been vaxxed?
No. We're really anti-vax.
Yeah, I don't believe in it. Like a lot of LA, that's talk about a fucking trend that you guys can keep Jesus is the Christ. Anti-vax shit, Lord. But also, I don't know if I'm gonna get it.
Wait, why are you taking that on us?
I don't know.
So there have been a lot of articles of varying,
it's
investigative
holistic lifestyle
depth,
bullshit.
But it is like wellness shit, right? Where it's like a lot of junk science and a lot of like kind of being seduced by charm and personality versus like actually what you're supposed to do. You do see a lot of LA-based wellness and crystal influencers hawking conspiracy theories and anti-vax shit on their social media in the past year.
Are they really LA though? Like to me, it's the same way we associate it with women. And I think the first doctor to ever be anti-vax was a guy.
I mean, this is specific to like yogi, like wellness LA women.
I'm sure. I don't know any of them.
It's women's fault. Obviously, that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to say.
So
I just everyone I know here is trying to.
Wait, so how are you? So you're going to fly to El Salvador? You're going to go first class?
Oh no! Who do you think I am? I work in media.
I think you're a deputy editor.
Oh well.
I think you're the Duchess of Deputization.
Well, this brings us to the second.
I've never been in first class.
Really? I mean, few and far between for me. I typically fly private, but if I, every so often on commercial.
This brings us to the second topic of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Which is money.
Ka-ching.
Pesos.
Yeah.
You talk. I mean, it's funny. Like you joke about who do you think I am? How much money do you think I make? I work in media. And that is like a common thing, but there's
misconception.
There's for sure big money in media. It's just not necessarily with the editorial guys. And the thing about like salary transparency, which is so important, right? Is that I just saw this tweet. Actually, I don't know if you retweeted it, but I saw something where it was like, yo, I'm hiring this media job and I'm getting people that are requesting salaries anywhere between $30,000 and $120,000. Nobody knows. It's the most like opaque shit on intentionally, right? So that you can like keep people in the dark and fucking feed them shit like mushrooms. So it's important to know, Alana, how much money do you make?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I said all that to just fucking trip you up with that question.
Yeah, it's a little. You might
Do
be
you
familiar
ask
with
everyone
gotcha.
that?
Yes,
we ask everyone
guest.
this question. Yeah.
Whether or not they answer, is
very
completely up to
few
them.
people give us a straight answer.
Yeah, there may be.
Feel free to bullshit around this, and I'll go right to the next question if you
In
want.
hundreds of episodes, maybe like a handful of people have actually answered, and a lot of them are like entrepreneurial people that like work for themselves.
I'll just ask this: how much money would you like to make? Like,
Yeah, do you have a number?
First of all, let's clarify. I don't think that I'm underpaid or anything like that. I just think who flies first class? Like to me, that, and maybe that's just my own misperceptions. Like you need to have money to burn.
I flew first class to Lawrence's wedding.
Yeah,
Okay.
he got upgraded.
You have a fashion podcast?
No, I got upgraded.
Yeah, right. We're famous fashion podcasters.
I got upgraded, and it was a regional shuttle flight, and it was basically like 4 extra inches of legroom.
Do you think a person who shops at the bins cares about first class? Like, I don't give a shit. I'm taking Spirit so I can save extra money and then like buy something.
Okay, so forget about how much money you do make, or how much money you even like to make. It's like now I want to know, what are you spending your money on? Because you're talking about how you're cheap and you're thrifty. Like when do you fucking ball out? That's what I want.
Where does it go?
Yeah.
Well, I got a refurbished Peloton through a fake family discount.
Hell yeah,
Fire.
dude. Refurbished.
So it was like
you bought a Peloton on Grailed.
No, like seriously, like it's
at the bins.
most, like, it might have a scratch on it. We can't promise you anything. And
She got a bike at the bins. It's one of these things. That's not a Peloton.
It's a Nordic ski track.
No,
You got a Nordic track at the bins.
Let's be clear. I definitely have like a shopping addiction. It's more that the way that I don't totally go into debt is by doing it for like 5 cents at the bin. Does that make sense?
I see. Yeah. Yes. That is economies of scale.
It's quantity, not quality.
Like instead of just buying like one really expensive shirt, I'll buy like 10 that have holes in them. And then my mom will yell at me and be like, what is wrong with you?
It's quantity over quality.
Yeah. And also, by the way, that Nirvana Nevermind tee, you could get thousands of dollars for, and you could pay for first class when you go to El Salvador. But
exactly. But I'd rather have the tea.
But you'd rather have the tea.
So is it still John's fashion? Whatever the price point is, like that's where your money's going? You could tell a lot about someone about their spending habits.
Is it all superficial bullshit?
I'm just thinking, no, I mean, I don't think there's like that much expendable. It's like there's bills, there's a car.
The car. That's right. That's
what are you pushing?
Yeah, what's the whip?
A Wraith?
I have a 2007
Lamborghini
BMW convertible.
Fire.
Top down.
With
The ladies out.
Crazy, dude.
Dude, that's the other thing. Like
you're gonna get the Barbie dream house next. God damn, what color is that Beamer?
Black.
You blast down the PCH, just fucking top down.
And I bought it from my family friend who like went through a divorce.
Oh, you fleeced
them. Wow,
them.
you carpet bagged your own family friend. Holy
fleeced
shit.
them.
Yes. And the license plate says dump him. And like,
get out of here.
People, I'm not kidding. And
can
then
you send us a picture?
I will send you a pic. Like,
please.
Here's
That's
the thing.
incredible. You have a dump him vanity plate that the family friend had. Obviously.
No. I got it and she was like, what have you done to my car? And I was like,
oh, you got it to immortalize the deal of a lifetime.
Yes. Actually, I was working that fucking Beamer for 10 years. I said to her, I love this car. I was like younger. I didn't even get my license till I was 26. I said, if and when you ever sell this car, you have to promise me that you would sell it to me.
You hooked up with the husband and you were the homewrecker just to get the fucking whip.
Speaking of long cons, god damn. You're a dastardly person.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Woo. Worth it though.
Demon time.
But oh no, I mean the thing that what's so interesting, like if you guys lived in LA, you'd probably be very into car. It's an extension of how you dress.
Yeah, well, we've said it before and we'll say it again. Johns and watches and gear and cars, it's all the same kind of a lot of under the hood talk for dudes. Where are the jeans made in Japan on what loom? It's like getting, under the hood of a car or, knowing a watch movement. It is a similar.
I'm on the ban all cars train though. I ban all cars.
There's a part of the the male consumer lizard brain, right? That scratches that autism that exists in all men. Just real. Just
what about art? I mean, your boyfriend's in the art world. Like, what about like food?
Oh, yeah.
I guess not like nice wines, like drugs, like marijuana.
Yeah.
Good.
You Cali sober? You.
I'm just full blown sober, baby.
Okay, so you're a narc.
Okay, so your drug budget is a spicy zero. Yeah. So I mean, look,
buy my drugs down by the bins. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned it.
What about for all the aspiring writers that now know how to pitch you? I guess something that's absolutely important, I think, is transparency around institutions and media publications rates, so that you know what you're getting into, right? So it's like, yo, maybe I do want to take this to MEL. Maybe I want to take this over to GQ. Sure. What's MEL's rate typically for a freelancer?
Yes. Basically we kind of start everyone out at a similar rate, and then it goes up depending, because I think like the longer we work with you, the easier, the faster, the less work it is to turn around. That means more money. We just don't know what the process is going to be like. So like, I would say, of course, there's exceptions depending on how extensive the piece is, but like a 300 to 350 starting rate, and then going from there.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's move on to the third and final topic of this podcast, which is everyone's favorite topic, meats and cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
What is the sex advice that the MEL reader always comes back and asks for more of?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The gift that keeps on giving.
How to make my loads bigger.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think, if we're talking about men, I think erectile dysfunction is a way bigger issue than anyone wants to admit. So there's that. There's just a lot of dick dysmorphia, and that's what I call
dick dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Episode title.
That's where you
we already have, listen, if the episode title wasn't already Men Who Eat Ass on Thanksgiving, dick dysmorphia would be a banger, but that's no can do on that one. But okay, dick dysmorphia, ED, and this is just stuff that like guys are just afraid to talk about, right?
I think so.
But are they afraid to research it, read about it on their own?
No, because no one can tell, except for us when we see recent searches of MEL Magazine, and it's like, my dick doesn't work. Please help me.
Help me, MEL. Dear MEL.
MEL.
What about
MEL,
women?
you're my only hope.
What are the women looking for?
Yeah.
What are the women looking? Oh, man. I don't know if they're coming to MEL for sex tips.
But maybe they're trying to solve their man's problem because their man can't fucking, he can't bear to look at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, that's
because how what society has told him is right versus wrong.
You guys, it's so hard for you.
He's just dribbling. He's just a dribbler, He's not busting fat ropes. He's just fucking.
My boyfriend's loads are too small.
I'm not trying to load shame. I'm not trying to load shame.
Yeah, my man's fucking. Damn, dude, you're load shaming. Another great episode title.
Loads in porn, and porn stars clearly.
Yeah.
They have
the bigger loads thing is confusing to me. Like, why would you want a bigger load? Like, for the aesthetics of it? Like, I personally don't
get the aesthetics. I think it's a
virality thing.
Exactly.
It's like basically more sperm. Like, I'm such a man. I have so many swimmers. Like,
but can you imagine like watching like Johnny Sins or whoever like bust a huge rope and being like, that should be me? It's like you don't watch Michael Jordan dunk from the free throw line and go,
yeah, exactly.
I could do that.
The other thing is, bro? I was like, this is so stupid because I've never ever heard a woman be like, it was great sex, but like small load. Right? It's like, are you kidding me? The smaller, the better. Less to swallow, less to clean up. It's disgusting.
You just want it to be a poof of dust. It's like that would be ideal.
Honestly,
you could blow it out of the air.
If nothing
like a dandelion.
Yeah.
Get the Swiffer. He busted. Let's get him out of here. Right? Easy.
Like it's actually a logistical nightmare if everyone had these monsters.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why we need this article taken off the internet because it's too powerful.
The loads are reading themselves.
It's too powerful.
Yeah, dude, we must suppress this. It's information that if it got out, it would change everything.
What about, I want to ask about, obviously the Dollar Shave Club tie-in. What about, in MEL Magazine's opinion, what's the ideal penis grooming situation these days? Because there's
what's the trend?
Obviously like stuff that is in Vogue, right? Not like Vogue magazine, but just, fashionable.
Maybe though, like, we don't read Vogue. So
what are men currently doing with their fucking pubic hair?
Yeah,
we can't agree as a stat. I mean, it's polarizing. I almost resigned of.
It's tearing the newsroom asunder.
What are the front
There's some
runners?
people
Yeah,
that
what are the
should
options?
just be like totally bald. Like
Yeah.
men don't.
What about the Gucci G's?
Like Ken, you want a Ken doll, but with a dick.
I
Clean.
think it's disgusting. I want hairy. I want hair coming out of the shirt.
Right.
What about like the Chanel logo?
Yeah.
Even better.
Okay. So you want hairy. What are the other?
You're all natural.
Yes.
Is there any in between the super bear and the fucking Ken doll?
No.
The alopecia peener and then the fucking all natural.
All men are kind of like, I think that, again, we had this like video once by our awesome video guy, like how to talk to other men about your grooming. Like, do men not talk about like, oh yeah, I had to trim because I'm going to get my dick sucked tonight. Or like, what's your
that's how we talk.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, to be honest.
Hey, Lawrence, I'm about to go get my dick sucked. Let me borrow your fucking beard trimmer.
I'm always asking my boyfriend about this. He's like, Alana, the way that you think men talk about sex is not accurate. And I'm like,
the way that you think about it is very tight, dude. Very tight.
Let me ask you this. Lawrence infamously uses the same razor for his face and his dick and maybe other stuff.
It's called going green and being energy efficient. He wouldn't understand. He's a polluter.
Is that smart? Is that gross?
Did an investigation on that. It's like really gross and bad. You're basically like trailing bacteria. Like if you ever tried to shave your ass and ever used that like on your mouth.
No, I'm talking
you're
about
gonna get dysentery.
No, well, not. Well, first of all, I'm not shaving my asshole, but I am shaving my dick in my face. Is that bad?
Wait, what do you mean your dick? Like the hair comes up on the shaft?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's bad.
What do you? No, that's normal. What do you?
Oh, thank you. Not my. Yeah, I'm not doing my ass, James. My ass.
I never said you're doing your ass. I never said ass.
My ass.
No one said ass.
Fucking nice as
what
is.
What are
dude.
you doing to the balls?
Oh, I mean, it's a combination of stuff. I mean, the electric is just like my beard trimmer, right? That's what you're gonna do to like get things to like a good cruising altitude where you can get in there and you get in there and be like really fucking laser precise with razors, different fucking, all this stuff.
Oh my god.
Is that unhealthy? Is that?
I think that's fine.
But it's just so basically to recap for everyone at home, don't do ass to mouth with.
But also, I am worried. Like,
right.
Okay, let's say you had like a cold sore, and you're like, look, let's just say a man has a cold sore, and then he like shaves his dick. Like, oof.
Oh shit!
Sorry.
I think you need to like. I just think
it never happened to me, but that seems pretty obvious.
Church and scrotum, in my opinion.
Yes.
Church and state.
What's stopping you from getting just a separate dick razor?
I mean laziness, and honestly, it's like I probably even have like an older one that I should relegate to. Though I guess the face is the most. I would say the face is the should you get the better razor?
You know
the
what?
Dick, it's like the.
I happen to work at a place. And I can send you some fucking razors. This is planned. This is sponsored content.
Yeah. Do you have an electric? Does Dollar Shave Club have an electric razor situation?
They don't.
Damn.
What's the asshole grooming? Because I think that's a little foreign to both of us. What's the asshole grooming situation? Besides requiring a separate razor,
dude, I don't know. It's like, what kind of men are we talking about? I think it's probably.
Well, are they gay or straight?
Queer men, yeah.
Let's just say two heterosexual podcasters.
Anecdotally, like I don't like straight men I've met and interacted with aren't shaving their buttholes.
Yeah,
I think that you like. First of all, it's so horrible and uncomfortable. Like I didn't even really know I was supposed to do that until like a year or two ago. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, like what? It's just the worst experience.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shit. Like
that's it. I'm moving to France.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I'm going to the continent.
And then,
Okay, so so it is a little bit. So really, what we're hearing here is there's standard fucking hygiene shit, but for the most part, when it comes to aesthetics, it's case by case.
Yeah, isn't it personal? I mean, I understand grooming if it's like getting in the way of sex stuff, right?
Right.
Like, but I personally don't on men or women. Like, I like a natural look. It's just not like.
The 70s are back, baby.
Yeah,
we're pro-choice. We're pro-choice when it comes to abortion, and we're pro-choice when it comes to asshole grooming. We're just a pro-choice pod across the board.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a very libertarian podcast.
Yeah. So it's like I don't like when
bootstrap your own asshole.
Yeah.
I just feel like all of us are going too far with the grooming. Like, let's.
I mean,
everyone's relax for a second.
That's fucking society. We live in a society, and sometimes
do we? I don't know if we still do.
Yeah. True.
Like.
Well, this past year has seen a lot of, I think everyone has way upped their film and TV consumption game. Alana, in this segment we call Fuck With Not Fuck With.
It's a working title. Actually, you're an editor. You could probably help us come up with a better title for this.
Who's your guy, Cooper?
Yeah.
Cooper, whatever.
Who's the headline guy? Yeah. The guy who came up with Men Who Eat Ass on Thanksgiving.
That was me. I'm that guy.
Oh, that was you. You were just getting in the mind. You were getting inside the mind of Cooper to channel him.
Just off the cuff.
Right. Well, as a top editor or top deputy editor, we want to know what you're fucking with, what you're not fucking with, film and TV.
Yeah. What are you watching right now?
I have those eyes. The worst taste in television. I mean,
hit us.
I think maybe I found something that was too dumb for me, but have you ever heard of TOEI?
No. Why is it so dumb?
It stands for, what does it stand for? It's like something of Essex. It's basically like a really trash reality show from the UK. In the Love Island era.
Nope. Yes, got it. Yeah, sure. A lot of tight clothing.
Oh my God. I've also gotten super into Survivor. I'm obsessed with it.
People love that. You
gotta get into it. You have to.
That's such a thing that there's certain people that love Survivor and are obsessed. And I remember watching like the first season when Richard, the naked guy, won like a million years ago. But I have never even thought about Survivor once, but I see it on Twitter. A lot of people are obsessed with Survivor. I mean, it's still on the air. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
CBS,
it's definitely having a renaissance too.
So what do you watch, old seasons and just
there's
binge?
Like classic seasons. So each, oh my God. And it goes back to the early aughts when things were super cringe. So each season typically has sort of a theme, right? So one will be, there are 3 different teams: beauty, brawn, and brains.
Wow. So it's like an ethical, like it's a philosophical
the theme is,
allegory.
The theme is Britney Spears misogyny.
They did different races. They did a race wars, and it's like
what? Literal race wars. Good. You did a race war.
It's like the team of like, oh my God,
who won? Who won the race war?
I'm not going to give it away.
Oh, well, I'm just going to Google it. But
guess.
African Americans,
white people.
It's very physical and fucking mental.
Asian guy, I think.
Really?
Asian guy.
Yeah.
A single Asian guy. Well, you know what? We're taking a lot of L's right now. So glad we got a W back in 2006.
Yo, respect, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who won? No one even knows. Fucking.
I forget.
Terrible representation.
Damn, you guys can't even remember his name. Survivor, TOEI. So like trash reality TV. What about like anything on Bravo currently?
Yeah.
Not
talking
currently.
To the Bravo boys. Okay.
I mean, I love Bravo. I had to take a little break while I got really deep in 90 Day Fiance.
Sure. Ooh, that shit is addictive.
It's so
Summer House is our favorite, I believe, right now.
I want to get into that.
You should.
It's really good. It's really fucking good.
Where do I watch it though?
You gotta get Bravo. You gotta Hulu. Oh yeah,
Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay. I can do
the
that.
Current season, they're currently doing a quarantine Summer House. So the whole conceit is that they're like, we're New Yorkers, like they live in Murray Hill. We work hard, we play harder. We play harder.
You know, it rocks. There's a podcaster on the show, honestly.
Yeah. Well, she became a podcaster after she got the fame. We had one dude on the previous podcast that should not be named. And yeah, this year they're doing all their work and play in one house in the Hamptons, and they're just the worst fucking like rise and grind like motherfuckers. They're just like, you're working 80 hours a week because you're bad at your job, not because you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, work smart, not hard.
That also reminds me that
play harder.
And it relates to fashion. That I watched The Sopranos for the first time during quarantine, and it like changed my life on many different levels. But like,
I mean, it's the best show of all time. I can't
get dressed without. Today isn't a very Sopranos inspired look, but I did name my new dog Carmela.
Wow.
And my goal is just to look like everyone on that show.
Everyone on the show has such great fucking personal style.
I mean, Carm, Adriana, but I'm also obsessed with the men, like Christopher Moltisanti. Like, can I look
great
like
looks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wardrobe for that show is really incredible. And part of me thinks that a lot of it is like the 90s revival, like it's just hitting. Like Sopranos like 99 when it was on, I don't know, whatever.
It's like early 2000s.
Yeah, but it is kind of like it's perfect. It's like the nexus of
I think season 1 was 99 or 2000.
Yeah. So
what about, is there any film and TV that is like, so it sounds like you're not really a fan of prestige TV. Is there anything that's like dominating the discourse that you're just like, this, I hate this. Like, fuck you, Queen's Gambit. I don't need to watch a fucking chess show.
I didn't love it. I thought it was like almost too
sexy.
No. Too like cookie cutter perfect that I was like, what's wrong? Like, I don't know what's wrong with this. Nothing.
Like how it's made.
They made it in like a lab.
Right.
It has, like, all the elements of like prestige TV. It's like the hot woman who's somehow an alcoholic, and then the mental illness, and then the flashbacks. Like, it was okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, it does feel like it was made in a laboratory by an algorithm or something.
What about Bachelor? Are you fucking with The Bachelor?
Of course I'm fucking with it.
And the whole like race fallout of that.
Oh,
God damn.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm not loving it this season.
It's tough time for.
I don't like The Bachelor. I just
unlike those Survivor race wars.
Yeah, that really
race scandals leaving a foul taste in my mouth.
At least they were upfront about it.
Yes, true. Right. Transparency is important. Yeah.
If you're going to be explicit with your racism, you know what? Respect. Bootstrap your racism.
Don't be Gavin McGinnis and level a cease and desist trying to hide from who you are.
Just put it out there. And also, there is a merge on Survivor, and they end up all mixing together.
Oh, you love to see that.
Wow, how progressive! How progressive of the race war.
They don't stay in their race forever.
The race war has to end eventually.
Oh my God, it's so funny. You have to watch it.
Alana, let's get into some constructive criticism, because obviously you're doing amazing. You are again deputy editor at MEL Magazine. Underrated, underappreciated, underpaid. It sounds like.
Okay, I'm not. No, wait.
Overworked. Overworked.
None of
these are all the things you said.
No, you specifically.
When did I say I was underappreciated? I said whatever. Fine, man. Fine.
What we're trying to say is that gigantic chip on your shoulder that's basically a boulder, and how it's kind of like hindered you from making any progress in your
actually true
in your personal life.
And
that's why we're going to give you some advice, right?
We're absolutely fans of the work that you're doing.
Yes,
and not just the work you're doing, but you yourself. After we've hung out for the last 2 hours, we just want to offer up some constructive criticism, right? So that you can really take it to the next level. I'll go first. Like, it's a well-known fact. Dollar Shave Club sold to Unilever for $1 billion. Why don't you kick this up to the bosses by throwing fits for literally only 1% of that, which is $10 million?
Actually, we want to.
Just done. Say less. We'll sell all of the IP.
What IP
I would
do you
love
want?
to buy it.
Tell us what IP you need. We'll give it to you.
But how much? Name a price.
$10 million.
$10 million. 1% of the billion you have that you personally have to play with and make decisions with.
Wow. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
I'll go down to the bins and see if I can.
Yeah, right. And go down to the bins and see if they need another fucking podcast.
No, we should. We absolutely, like, a brand like MEL should have.
Have a
for
podcast
sale
called Throwing Fits.
Everyone has their number, and our number is not that high.
Here's the thing: would you guys? This is just a question, and not about MEL specifically, but would you want to be owned? Don't you like that you can do your own thing?
I don't know.
Everyone's got a number.
If you're going to throw some $1 million at us,
you don't make a lot of money.
We make a lot of money, but I don't make $10 million. I don't make $5 million.
Well, you're not going to. Taxes. I don't think you're going to get $5.
Well, you're asking for 1%. You're advocating.
We're not getting $5 million. We're each getting $5 million because the sale will be $10 million.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Switching gears a bit. One of the things that does make us money, not necessarily $5 million a piece, but we have a fake ass newsletter that we gatekeep behind the paywall on Patreon called The Thursday Dumper. And it's pretty good. And it's a shoppable thing. It's a newsletter all about Johns, when, where, and why to cop them. But we could really use like a bigger kind of editorial vision. And I'm wondering if you had any time to maybe, take on the mantle of editor for that. And we can't pay you, but it might be good for like your exposure.
Totally. It's like I'm an intern.
Yeah, it's like an exposure play, but you're the editor. Yeah.
This is actually the funniest thing. I got like a recruiter emailed me and they're like, we have a position we think would be great for you. Editorial intern at like some website.
Who was the recruiter?
Gavin
McGinnis?
But it's like from LinkedIn, and I was just like, is this the state of media or just like my sad life? Like,
you're like, I need to update my LinkedIn profile ASAP.
Yeah, damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just pay me an exposure and sexual harassment, fine. I guess I can do it.
We absolutely need an editor in this week's edition. Lawrence forgot to link to the product that,
I forgot that. It's that kind of stuff.
Do you think you could be like more of a lifestyle? I mean, let's just talk offline. I don't know why you don't have a magazine. I mean, don't you want to throw money out? Don't you want to have like a money pit of a magazine or something?
Yeah.
If the money pit
that's
is
not just my closet.
my pockets. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
let's talk different media types, right? Like Lawrence and I, we went from cutting edge video with high production quality in Fashion Bros to a podcast network that is worth like millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
To just two dudes sitting in their undies at home with fucking incel podcast mics. We are on this path of regression when it comes to technology. You are going from digital magazine to email newsletter. Follow in our way, go even more Luddite and just pass out a weekly pamphlet like it's 19th century London.
You mean like Drunk Canal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, basically. Or like whatever they used to warn prostitutes that Jack the Ripper was murdering them, that kind of
I actually think that would do really well.
Yeah. A pamphlet.
That's how Barstool started.
Yeah. I think they were a newspaper, but a pamphlet is even, it's easier to do. It's less work.
Go to like COVID testing centers.
Yes.
Like it's plague
the bins.
vibes.
You're already a princess of the bins, dude. You might as well fucking
Baroness of the bins.
Know about is Street Sheet like a San Francisco thing? Do you know what that is?
No.
That's where I grew up. Basically, it's a newspaper. It's a little sheet made by homeless people. I'm not quite sure how it's made, but it's like homeless people sell it, and I think a nonprofit like funds it, and they write it, and it's really awesome. It's called Street Sheet. I think Drunk Canal is appropriating Street.
What do they write about? Just like
different stories or what's going on.
Homeless people.
Yeah.
What else is going on in San Francisco?
Cents.
Tech bros, homeless people, crazy rents, drug problems.
The Rock, starring Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery from 1998.
Tours of Alcatraz.
God. Yeah. Yep. Jerry Bruckheimer, Blasek.
Yeah, Blasek. Probably the best movie ever made about San Francisco, The Rock. 100%, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the last piece of constructive criticism, Alana, before we get you out of here. I'm not sure.
Going with that?
Yes, I'm not sure if you are familiar with a previous endeavor of the only podcast that matter, a little website called Four Pins that I was the editor-in-chief of that James contributed to. And you're familiar. And MEL Magazine famously wrote an article about it. Our friend
edited that.
Dave Infante.
Yes, I commissioned that.
Wow, sick. So I probably have some emails either from you probably connecting me with Dave, though I knew Dave already. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's spearhead the Four Pins relaunch at Complex Media. That's you. You take that on, and then you hire me and James for an astronomical, out of this world.
I have to deal with Complex
and consulting fee, but you got to work at Complex. You're the boss, but you hire us to kind of like EP to keep it natural, to kind of keep the legacy going. So we just get paid to like
vanity
yes and no men. Yeah, vanity titles basically.
Got it. So you've really been fucked multiple ways.
Everywhere. Well, I mean, Complex, I will say about Four Pins, like, because obviously the Barstool thing kind of blew up, but even though it was our own fault, obviously, like everything is. But Complex, that property and that IP was developed in-house. So that's not something that I feel like anybody
you did. Yes.
And any people that would be foolish enough to tell James and I to like bring back Fashion Bros or relaunch Complex. I'm like, cool, relaunch Four Pins. It's cool. Talk to Complex. It's like we don't have anything to do with that.
You do sign. I mean, for me, every place I've ever worked, they do make you sign a thing.
Oh, for sure.
The work that you do here is owned by us. So
right. Yeah.
Although that is being challenged slightly. I think it was
a lot.
Yeah. The podcast, I forget what it is at BuzzFeed, right? Is kind of like the latest example where, again, it's kind of like a Caller Daddy situation. And yes, Caller Daddy and Barstool are like ridiculous beings, but this notion of fostering and grooming and developing in-house talent and in-house IP that is intricately tied to the individual.
Yeah.
And this goes for news too, and like newsrooms and like, like Maggie Haberman has like 1.5 million followers, right? Like that's so valuable or is it?
No, I totally agree. I mean, I just don't understand. Just give it to the person. Like it doesn't work without them. What it seems like it's more about like ego or
that's
ownership.
bad, but that's bad business though. Also to play devil's advocate here.
But so then hold on to it and have it kind of die and be not as good.
Or like take care of your people, right? Take care of it's like, listen, I'm talent. James is talent. Alana is about to be talent with this fucking newsletter and all these fucking podcasts she's about to be doing in her press junket. Like you better get fucking used to seeing her around. All I'm saying is take care of us. Take care of the talent. Yeah. We put asses in the seats. So fucking pay up. Don't be a cheap bitch about it. That's all I'm saying.
Attaboy. Just an attaboy and attagirl, like, make us feel loved.
Come on. Speaking of which, I guess the final thing I want to know, Alana, is like, do you want to be a face? Because like you were this writer, and you talked about some of the struggles that come with the byline and the kind of profile that gives you. So you've taken a step back. Do you feel like itching a bit to get back in the spotlight a little bit, to get out there, to do pods, to put your name on a newsletter? Like,
That's the lifelong question that like everyone asks me, and it changes day to day. But I think like as an editor, you can actually have like a ton of influence and say a bunch of stuff, even if you're not writing the piece. You're the puppet
master. You're the Wizard of Oz.
You're the woman behind the curtain. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there's this like famous editor named Clay Felker who kind of like
never heard of him,
but he used to say writers get the glory, but editors have the power.
Ooh, hell yeah!
You want glory or power?
Yeah,
both. No, I mean,
why can't I have it all?
That's such like an old school. I mean, that was back in the day when like people. It was
now as a millennial, you just want everything.
Yeah. But I think like the things I've gotten to say through editing with Mel are just like so much sort of more nuanced, bigger, and more impactful than anything I would have just written personally. And there are other people that are better. As we said, writing is like, I just like tear my hair out over it.
Yeah.
So, but, we'll see.
We're excited to see you put pen to paper or finger to keys with the Melanie newsletter. Go fucking sign up for that. Yo, Alana, congrats. You made it through the only podcast that matters. What do you want to plug? Where can the kids follow you on socials? Where can they sign up for Melanie? The floor is yours.
Yeah, go off, Queen.
Okay. At Alana Levinson is my handle on both Twit and Insta. I would love to be followed on Insta just because Twitter really is a hellhole. And I just...
Right. What are your IG numbers like? Where are we at right
2,500.
Now? Those are rookie numbers. We got to pump those up just like the loads, fellas.
That's media elite numbers.
We're gonna get you up.
No, it's bad. But
all right, go follow Alana on IG.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is 47.3. Dog. This is a fight that you do not want. I make sure that everyone on the pod has less influence.
We're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on because to get Lawrence talking about his social media numbers is I'll kill myself.
I know.
I think the audience will too. Thank God we're at the end here.
3% of the men's suicide rates happens from people having to listen to Lawrence talk about his social media numbers.
That's with great power comes great responsibility.
Go follow Alana on socials.
And on
sign up for Melanie.
That's where you'll get all the info to sign up.
What's Mel on Twitter and IG? What is the handles? We are Mel on both.
We are Mel
on both.
Thank you.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Go find it. You people are smart.
Go figure it out. You know how to use the search bar.
Oh my God.
Go read Mel
and read our article. Read the article that Alana is writing on us in the second. That's why you got to sign up for the newsletter. Else you're going to miss the fucking goddamn motherfucking boys.
Should we tease what it's kind of about?
No.
Fit picks. Alana, thank you for coming on to the Only Podcast.
We appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Chef, slap that motherfucking outro.
How should I begin this? I'm just so offended. How am I even mentioned by all these fucking beginners? I'm so appalled. I might buy them all just to show niggas how much more I have in store. I'm fresher than you all, so I don't have to pause. All of y'all can suck my balls through my drawers. Dark night feeling, die and be a hero, but live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I went from the favorite to the most hated, but would you rather be underpaid or overrated? More victories is for minor league coaches, and yeah, already told you we major you cockroaches. Show me where the boats is, Ferrari test the roasters. The hammer went broke, so you know I'm more focused. I lost 30 mils, so I spent another 30, cause unlike Hammer, 30 million can't hurt me. Fucking insane, what the fuck am I saying? Not only am I fly, I'm fucking not playing. All these little bitches, too big for they bridges, burning they little bridges. Fucking ridiculous.
Champagne wishes, 30 white bitches. I mean the shit is fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. I mean the shit is fucking ridiculous. 5-star dishes, different exotic dishes. Man, this shit is